Hello everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm continuing on with PneumaticCraft. Now, basically everything I've done so far to this point with PneumaticCraft, except for maybe the elevators, has been infrastructure. Getting the things set up so that I have a compression chamber, I can make my printed circuit boards with my assembly system up, my assembly line up there, getting the RF, using my RF power to generate my compressed air in a semi or mostly automated way. I guess it is automated. It's all been infrastructure up to this point. Now I can actually start making and using the devices that will actually accomplish things for me, and this is the more exciting part of PneumaticCraft. And the first thing the first thing that I have made is a drone. Now the drone looks like this. Boop. And by its just as it is, it's, well, dull because it doesn't do anything. But we'll pick it back up with my pneumatic wrench. What you need for the drone is it has to be programmed, and this is the programmer. And in the programmer, you use these little puzzle pieces in order to tell the drone what you want it to do. It's not super complicated, but it's also not super easy. If you've done any programming, or even if you've ever had to follow instructions, maybe you've built something, Legos even, or put together some piece of furniture, or even a bicycle, or had to repair anything, you have to follow steps. And if you do the steps out of order, or you skip something, or you do something wrong, then what you end up with could not be what you had intended it to be. So sometimes a lot of this can be a little bit of trial and error. Now, I've already written the program that I'm going to use. It's right here, and I'm not going to talk about it too much right now. I'll explain it in a little bit. But at this point in time, up here in this corner, we put the drone, and you can see there's two buttons here. We can either send this program to the drone or send up the program that's already in the drone, which there isn't one right now, but if there was, we could send that into the programmer to copy it, basically. So I am going to export this program to the drone. Now, in order to do that, each of these puzzle pieces have to be made, and they are recipes, and they basically are printed circuit boards surrounded by a certain color of plastic, and they're all like that, which is another reason why I needed the assembly line upstairs in order to make my printed circuit boards, because I did need to make quite a bit of them. And when you hover over the export button, it shows you how many programming puzzle pieces you need, and if it's green, it means that you have all of the pieces in your inventory, and of course I've made sure that I already made those, so I have them ready to go. So I'm going to export this program to the drone, and now you can see the drone has a program in it, and if you saw down here, some of these puzzle pieces went away because it was used to make the program. So I'm going to take the drone back out, and the drone, as you can see, has 0 bars of pressure, right under drone where it says pressure, 0 bars. So it does need to be charged up as well. I'm going to go ahead and put it into the charging station, and you can see it is starting to charge up. It's very slow in charging, sadly enough. All right, the drone is finally up to 10 bars of pressure, which is the maximum amount of pressure that it can hold. Incidentally, on here on the charging station, once you put the drone in this slot, if you click the inventory button, you can now provide upgrades to the drone. And I probably will provide at least perhaps a speed upgrade, which will make it move a little bit faster, and the item life upgrade will allow it to auto repair itself if it needs to. It shouldn't need to, but I can think of circumstances where it might need to. So now what I have is a drone that has been fully programmed, and it has full pressure. So let's go over here to the greenhouse. All right, so I'm going to set the drone down, and if I've programmed it correctly, we should be able to see it start working. So you see it flies over to that chest, and then it goes up and it starts to mine out this top row of blocks. And you can see there it's going. Now it's going to be a little bit slow on things like diamonds, and I'll explain why in a little bit. Looks like there are some a little bit of graphical glitches as it updates, but for the most part it's doing what I want it to do. Slow on the copper as well. But there you go, it's mining out this top row of ores. Let's go back over, I'm going to let it run, do its thing. Let's go over to the programmer. And I can't get inside the door. That's okay. So in the programmer, you always have a start, and I don't know why you have to have a start, but I also don't know why there isn't an end. It should feel like if there's a start, there should be an end. But the start is where the programming starts. So the first instruction, the first puzzle piece here is an import from inventory. And then this piece is sort of added on, and that piece is the area. Basically, it's in this case, it's telling where to import the import from. Here is an export to inventory, and it's got an area as well. And these two areas are the same. And that area is this chest that you saw the drone go to when it first started right here. And what the drone has in it are pickaxes, in this case stone pickaxes, because that's what I put in there. What that means is this instruction is telling the drone import from inventory. So it's telling the drone go to that chest located at that area and take whatever's in the first available slot. In this case, be a stone pickaxe. And this instruction says to go to that chest and put back whatever's in your inventory, which in this case would be the stone pickaxe. So it's taking a stone pickaxe, and then here it's putting it back. And this is the dig area command or puzzle piece, and its area is set to that top row of 5 ores, and it says, you know, mine out those 5 ores. And this here is an item filter, and it's also a separate puzzle piece. And it is set to stone. And when you have something on this side of the puzzle piece, it's like the blacklist or the don't side. And this is the whitelist or the do side. So if I had this item filter on this side, it would be telling the drone only mine stone. But because I have it on this side, it's telling the drone mine anything that isn't stone. And of course, that's fairly important because we don't want it to mine up the stone. We only want it to mine up ores. So if we come back and watch this thing in action, you'll see it's going to mine out that diamond block. Should then run over and mine out that iron block. Now it's going back down, but it'll come back up and it'll mine out that yellowite block there and then go back down. And so you'll see it comes, so the programming basically tells it, come down here, pick up a pickaxe, take it up here, mine out however many of those ores you can, come back and put the pickaxe back into the chest. And of course, as the ores are mined off of that top row, the stone generator activates and pushes up more things for it to mine. You'll see real quick, it drops the pickaxe and then it picked it right back up. So that is the basics of the programming I've done for this particular drone. The usage of it is fairly obvious. I now have an automated mining system. Sort of. There's a couple of things that I still need to do. I was concerned about whether or not geonacs would be summoned in this process, and apparently they are. So I don't know yet how I'm going to handle that issue. Hopefully it won't happen too often. But the geonacs shouldn't attack my drone, at least. At least I hope not. If they do, then I'm going to have a serious problem because I'll have to keep remaking these drones. So as you can see, I have a sort of semi-automated method of mining the ores. There's a couple of things that I need to worry about, though. And I'm going to go pick up him after he mines this piece of copper. There we go. I'll take you back. Did I get you? No, you probably went down to the vacuum chest, which is fine. There you are. And I'll take your pickaxe and I'll put it back. And you can see the pickaxe does use durability as the drone uses it. Now, the drone doesn't actually need to use a pickaxe. It will mine the ores without it, but it's really, really slow. Basically, when you give it a pickaxe to use, you're increasing the speed at which the drone can do the mining. So not horribly critical, but at the same time, it's somewhat necessary when you really think about it. Now you'll see on the drone here that the pressure is now down to 8.3 bars. So in that short time span that I was using it, it used up 1.7 bars of pressure. Now, of course, I can take the drone back over to the charging station, excuse me, and charge it back up to 10 bars of pressure. But to be automated, of course, I don't want to do that if I can avoid it. Fortunately, I don't have to. The only thing that overrides whatever you program the drone for, and it shows you right here, when the drone gets low on air, it searches for a nearby charging station with a dispenser upgrade inserted that has more than 1 bar. And that's what I need to make. I need to make a charging station with a dispenser upgrade, but it needs to be over in the greenhouse. And that means I need to be able to provide it with compressed air, and I'm going to go ahead and use another flux compressor to do that. Now, I've already made the flux compressor. I still need to make the charging station, so that will automate the drone to be able to constantly keep mining, charge itself when it needs to, and then go back to its job. The next problem I'm going to have is similar to the problem I had with the farms, in that I will need to find a way to automatically keep pickaxes in this chest. I will probably want to use the stone pickaxes, primarily because the wood pickaxes, they do increase the speed of the drone, but not significantly enough to make a difference. Of course, I'd much rather use, say, iron or something even better than that, but at this point I can't really do that because honestly I don't really have that much iron when you think about it. I went and looked at this before I started recording, and this is all the iron I have. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got about 5.5 stacks of iron. The PneumaticCraft mod uses up a lot of iron, and all the stuff in it requires a bunch of iron, so that's why. So anyway, that is the basics of the drone. Obviously, there's much more you can do with it as far as programming wise. You can program it to attack. There's the dig area, which is, mining, which is what I'm using. You can tell it to place items down. You can tell it to pick items up, exporting to inventory, importing to inventory, or just go to a specific location. And then of course you have the modifiers as far as the area, or item filters, or even text, which I'm not really sure exactly what that does. But you can do some pretty complicated programming with it, and you can also do some simple programming with it. I would characterize what I'm doing here as being fairly simple. You might wonder why I have it picking up the axe, mining that top row, and then dropping the axe back in the inventory, only to go back and do it again. And that is mainly because if the pickaxe breaks while the drone has it in its hand, it will still mine, but at the slower rate. So that gives it an opportunity to go back to the chest and hopefully pick up another pickaxe. That's primarily why I have that set to be that way. But there you are, the drone that I will be using for automating my mining and getting my ores and stuff. Pretty neat little thing. I kind of like it. Obviously, as I said, there's a lot more you can do with drones, and if you watch some videos of other people playing Feed the Beast, especially Direwolf20, he has used drones to do quite a bit of automation in it, and the things you can come up with are pretty cool. The next practical item that I'm making from the PneumaticCraft mod is the Pneumatic Helmet. Now, I've already made the Pneumatic Helmet, as you can see, and I'm going to go ahead and place it into the charging station in order to charge it up to at least 10 bars of pressure. Now, going in here, there are these various upgrades that can be made for it, and again, information on it here. There's an entity tracker upgrade which tracks any living entity within a range of 16 blocks. They don't even have to be visible. There's a block tracker upgrade which allows you to track blocks. There's an item search upgrade which allows you to do different things as well, and a coordinate tracker upgrade which kind of works like a GPS function almost. But what I'm primarily interested in making is this entity tracker upgrade. So let me make one of those and I'll add it to my helmet. Okay, one entity tracker upgrade later, I can place that into the helmet like so. And now I have a helmet, as you can see, with an entity tracker upgrade into it. So if I take the helmet out, I can now put the helmet on. And it takes a little while to boot up. You can see it doing all kinds of fancy little graphics and stuff on the top of the screen there. And once it gets up to fully booted up, it's initialized, and I can now track entities. You can see it is showing me entities that are below me. I can't see the thing so well, but you can see it is looking at a golden Saphignus, I think. It shows me it's got 100% health. Same with that one and all that. I wanted to make this primarily because these guys have been below my base and making all kinds of noise and just being generally annoying. So I want to go down and kill them, but I wanted to have the helmet first so I could kind of see where they're at. You can look over that way, you can see that there's a chicken. That's where my animal farm is currently at. So you should see a bunch more chickens coming up there, and probably some cows as well. If we look off in another direction, there might be some more bad guys and other things around. So obviously if there are a lot, it can be too much. Now the range of it is only 16 blocks, but take it back out and go in there. I believe I can add, let's see, on the entity tracker upgrade, 16 blocks, I thought I was able to add range upgrades of some kind. So let me look at that real quick. Yes, it says here in the range upgrade can be placed in the pneumatic helmet, and I think in doing that it increases how far out the helmet detects the entities. So let me see how to make one of these. Okay, a bow, some arrows, and some lapis. That's not too bad. Let me make a couple of those and put them in and see what happens. Okay, I've made 5 of these range upgrades. Might even be too much, but let's take them out and let's put them in there, and then yeah, 5 range upgrades. Put the helmet back on, let it boot up and come back online. There we go. And it's probably actually tracking so many targets. Look at all the targets. Look at all the targets. There's so many in range. Okay, now obviously there are a lot of entities that can be seen now with the range upgrade. Oh, there's a skeleton somewhere over there. There's a Jengu somewhere over there. Doesn't really show me how far away they are, but kind of get an idea based on this. I can go into the options on the entity tracker, and you can see I can filter it by an animal, so I could say cow. Let's try that. And now those all disappear and only the cows are showing up in the tracker. Oops. I think I would have liked if there was a way to track by hostile mobs, but that's okay. So I will be able to use this to find these guys under my base and kill them and stop the awful noises that are coming about. I think I don't need this many range upgrades in the helmet, so I'm going to take it down to maybe 2 is probably more than enough. Put my helmet back on. There we go. And let it boot up. It's pretty neat. I like the sound effects it has. And it's a really neat thing to have this helmet. And again, it'll help me find mobs as opposed to me trying to dig around and search for them, which is sometimes more difficult than it should be. So a while back, I think I might have mentioned that I didn't like the idea of having any lava in my base. And this is the reason why. The Lycanites mobs will spawn in lava. Oh. And apparently even lava that's only 1 square deep and 1 square wide. And he's actually even trying to shoot me. Now I can kill him easily enough, that's not a big problem, but I just don't like the idea of anything being able to spawn within my base that's outside of my control. It's one thing about the Lycanites mobs mod that I kind of didn't like. There's another kind of a mob that spawns whenever you farm your crops. I actually disabled that one because I felt it was a bit ridiculous. There's the mob that spawns when you're doing mining, the Geonax, which I've shown on camera before, and there's these mobs that spawn in lava. I don't necessarily mind the ones that spawn in lava, but it is kind of annoying especially if you have a situation where you need some lava. Now, I didn't know it until just a little while ago, but it turns out that I don't know if the author of the Lycanites mob thought of it and thought of that as being a problem and came up with a solution, or he came up with a solution for other reasons. I'm not entirely sure. But let's go take this bucket of lava out of here, and I can combine a bucket of lava with a gassed tier, and that is pretty expensive in and of itself. But if I do that, I get something called a pure lava bucket, and it's not lava. It's, as you can see here, it shows that the infernal mobs will not the infernal mobs, but the Lycanites inferno mobs will not spawn in it. So that's a good point of it. You can also create a 2x2 infinite pool like you would of water with it as well if you wanted to. Oh, it duped the bucket. Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, the bad part is that it acts like lava in some circumstances and not in others. It does seem to act as lava as far as being a heat source for this plastic mixer, but it doesn't work as lava for, let me get out one of these. One of the flowers in the Botania mod that generates mana is called the Thermal Lily, which generates the flower power based because of lava, and this special lava from the Lycanites mobs will not work for that. So it's a little strange. It acts as lava in some circumstances but not in others. But yeah, so that I decided to go ahead and replace the regular lava underneath there with the pure lava, and that will at least prevent the stupid monsters from spawning inside of my base. Ah, I hate these infernal mobs with the fiery setting. Being set on fire is such a nuisance and an annoyance.
You should make the Pyroclast pendant.
Oh, hi, Mr. Chicken. You know, you're probably right. I should make a Pyroclast pendant. How come you're always here to give me such good advice?
I'm your guardian angel.
A chicken is my guardian angel?
All chickens are guardian angels.
What?
Think about it. When you think of a guardian angel, what do you think of? They can fly, right? Chickens can fly. And they're all dressed in white. Chickens are dressed in white. Chickens are guardian angels.
Wait a minute. If all chickens are guardian angels, why do you let yourselves be penned up in tiny coops?
We don't like to talk about that.
As usual, Mr. Chicken is right. The Pyroclast pendant will make sure I'm not on fire as long as I'm not directly standing in fire or lava. So it should be the case that when those fiery bombs set me on fire, the Pyroclast pendant should put me right out. So let me make one of these, see how difficult it is. Oh, Rune of Fire, Rune of Summer, not too terrible. Let me make one and see how it works. Okay, I now have the Pyroclast pendant. There it is. Let's go ahead and put that in this slot here. And now it should mean that they won't be set on fire. Yeah, look at that. So I can hit this fire guy and not be set on fire. Now he still kicks my butt because he's got Vengeance and Lifesteal, but at least I avoid the fire problem. And that is really nice. So now that I have my drone doing automatic mining, I came in here and I set up a more automatic system to sort things out. basically the items come in, they go through the sag mill and the alloy smelter as needed. I still have some stuff going on here that will be cleaned up eventually. I'm testing some things out, but the ores that are mined by the drone get processed automatically and then sorted out into these various chests. So as you can see, I'm building back up my supply of iron. I even have a decent amount of gold, decent amount of redstone, even 20 emeralds and over a stack of diamonds, which is nice. Lapis is coming in nicely, and then the ores for PneumaticCraft there are doing very well, and even the ores for the big reactors, which I haven't got into yet, but I will eventually, are doing great. Coal is doing really well. I had to turn some of the coal into blocks of coal just to save space, so that's really nice. That's going to do it for this episode. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about this drone doing my mining for me. You gotta love that. And all of it being processed into the ores automatically. That leaves me free to explore other pursuits. Perhaps blood magic is next on the list? I think that it might be. Thank you so much for joining me as always. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.